His stories, he's got facts and passion. You can turn your back. I'm taking me the music called Standing Tall. Neil Vectis from the Isle of Wight, shining the light so clear and bright. But the Beatles forecast over tree, let the rhythm move your feet.
This is Homer Simpson, and you've just made the biggest mistake of your life.
Hey, Homer. It's the Vectisfabber verdict with Neil Vectis.
Hey everyone, I'm Neil Vectis and welcome back to the Vectisfabber verdict. I'm diving into a topic that's been on my mind, and, I know, on the minds of many Beatles fans, for a long time. We're talking about Brian Epstein, the man who discovered, managed, and arguably shaped the world's biggest band. We all know the bare bones of the story that he died tragically young. But behind that headline lies a complex web of rumor, speculation, and, of course, the official story. And that's what we're going to unpack today. For those of you who might be new to the Beatles story, Brian Epstein was, in every sense of the word, their architect. He saw them playing in the Cavern Club in Liverpool and had a vision. It wasn't just about the music, it was about the image, the style, the presentation. He cleaned them up, got them suits, and ultimately, got them on the road to worldwide fame. But fame, as we know, comes with a price, and for Brian, that price seems to have been incredibly steep. Now, the official record, as declared by the coroner in 1967, was that Brian Epstein died of an accidental overdose of sleeping pills, specifically carbitrol, combined with alcohol. It was ruled as an accidental death, and that's been the accepted narrative. End of story, right? Well, not quite. There have been, for decades, rumors swirling around his death, and frankly, they're rumors that should be addressed, not swept under the rug. Some claim it was suicide, that the pressure had finally become too much for him. And understanding the context of the last few years of his life makes this theory, at least on the surface, seem plausible. Let's talk about the context. By 1967, the Beatles were at, or near, the peak of their fame. The relentless touring, the constant recording, and the insane level of media attention, it was exhausting for them, and it was equally, if not more, exhausting for Brian. He was their manager, their confidant, their protector, their buffer against the world, and frankly, it's hard to imagine how one person could handle all that. And it wasn't just the demands of the job that were grinding him down. There were internal tensions as well. By this point, the Beatles were becoming increasingly independent, questioning his decisions, and starting to delve into their own musical experiments, things that sometimes didn't quite align with Brian's vision. Let's be honest, Sgt. Pepper was a long way from the mop-top days, and that change, those new artistic directions, must have been a challenge for him. But here's the real kicker for me: the rumors about his contract with the Beatles. Now, this is a messy area, and the details are debated. But the gist of it is this: Brian felt, and rightly so, that he had been instrumental in their success. He'd secured their publishing deals, their recording contracts, and negotiated their performances. He put his faith and his money into these for lads from Liverpool before anyone else did. But there were whispers, even then, that some of the individual members, particularly in their newfound independence, were questioning the terms of that agreement. I've been reading through bits and pieces of biographies and accounts from the time, and what I've gathered is that Brian was incredibly worried about being sidelined. Some accounts suggest that he felt the Beatles were outgrowing him, that they were beginning to think they could manage themselves. He'd been at the helm for so long, and the idea of being replaced had to have been terrifying for him. His identity was so closely tied to their success. Think about it, his entire life was wrapped up in the Beatles. He worked tirelessly, dealing with the often frustrating realities of contracts, media scrums, and the egos that come with fame. He'd gone from being a shop owner in Liverpool to managing a global cultural phenomenon. That transition, that entire process, has to have been incredibly draining and isolating, even on a good day. And it's important to note, this wasn't just about business. Brian Epstein was gay at a time when homosexuality was still largely illegal and socially taboo. He had to live a life of constant secrecy and anxiety, and while the Beatles were mostly accepting and supportive, it still added an extra layer of pressure and isolation. So, you have him feeling like his relationship with the Beatles was unstable, the pressure of managing them taking its toll, the stress of hiding his true self, and the constant expectation to always be on. Combine all of that, and honestly, it's no wonder his mental health seems to have been suffering. Did he choose to end it all? The official ruling says accidental, and it's impossible to say definitively, decades later, what was going through his mind. But I think it's incredibly naive to simply accept the accidental overdose explanation without considering the weight of the pressures he was facing in the final years, months, and even days of his life. He was a complex individual, navigating an incredibly complex situation. And even if it was truly an accident, it's still a testament to the toll that the relentless demands of managing the biggest band on the planet, coupled with personal battles, can take on a single human being. His story is a cautionary one, a reminder that fame and success often mask deeper struggles. It reminds us that the people behind the scenes, the managers, the promoters, the producers, often carry just as heavy a load, and that we should perhaps show more empathy in how we judge their behaviors, mistakes, and challenges. Brian Epstein's impact on music history is undeniable. He wasn't just a manager, he was a visionary, an enabler, and, in many ways, a member of the band. His story, the full story, the one that includes those unsettling rumors and the undeniable pressures of his life, needs to be remembered, not just for the historical record, but also as a reminder of the very real human toll of fame. So, that's my take on the mystery surrounding Brian Epstein's death. I really wanted to dig deeper than the simple explanations. But I also want to keep things short. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next time on the Vectisfabber verdict.